Here we go again. Hello, greetings. It is Tuesday afternoon. That is my GitHub managerizer. My name is Mike Bifulco. I am Director of Technology for this here, the Gymnasium.com. We are an online, free, self-paced, video-based code school, design school, tools school for you to learn things about being a better creative technical worker in 2019. You should come check out our courses. They're completely free. They are self-paced. They are video-based. You can do them 24/7 from wherever you are, as long as you're connected to the internet on our website at thegymnasium.com. I would recommend you check out any and all of these courses. And if you're looking for one to start that you might not have otherwise started, I would recommend our course on writing for web and mobile. One of my favorites. Anyone, anywhere who works on really anything where you have to write or think about words should take the writing for web and mobile course. It will really help you reconsider the way that you write things and the way that you design words for other people to consume. Helpful if you're creating interfaces, helpful if you're doing storytelling of any sort, and helpful for communicating with other humans. And as it works out, most of us have to communicate with other humans from time to time. So that's my plug. You should check it out. We do this live stream, we being me and Justin and Andrew, who are often on chat, who will likely be joining us at some point today. Once a week. The caveat this week being that next week I won't be here. I'll be away at a conference. But I get on and I stream and I work on what I'm working on for Gymnasium, and I try and do it unrehearsed so that you can see what I'm learning as I'm learning, because that is a heck of an experience for all of us. So what have we been working on? Well, in this tab you'll see that I haven't started it up, so I should start it up. We have been working on this guy here, which is a Storybook and Gatsby front-end replacement for Gymnasium's marketing pages. So all of the pages on Gymnasium that have to do with presentation of our courses before you get into the courseware. So the home page, this catalog page that we're looking at here, the about pages, the FAQ, all of those things we're going to lift and replace with Gatsby because we have a publishing workflow right now that kind of just takes too long for us to be able to do experimentation, to put out messaging in a way that we love. So we are trying to work with Gatsby and Storybook because they are going to be, for our purposes, a lot easier to deploy to. So there's a lot behind that, but what we've been building over the past few weeks is the site, essentially from the ground up, with an updated design using Gatsby, using Storybook. Right now it looks like this. We've been doing some experimentation with both Gatsby and Storybook to make sure the two of them are in lockstep. We found a few exceptions here and there, which we will of course work to remedy, but by and large things have been coming together. So last week I was working on getting the header bits for the homepage in order, and so I'm going to continue on that work. There's a couple things I'm going to do. We haven't actually yet integrated this into the main branch for this project, but we will probably by the end of today. And I think what I'm going to even try and do is poke around with the new version of Bootstrap. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that. I keep going back and forth, but this is using Bootstrap 3 right now, which is going out of support. At a bare minimum, I should be using the supported version of Bootstrap, but it's also entirely possible that we will opt to not use Bootstrap. There's a lot of other tools available to us now, and being a very design-focused and DIY learning-focused organization, it might make more sense for us to just do a whole grid layout-based design for this, which would be kind of cool. So I've got to get up with Justin and Andrew at some point and talk to them about it in a more serious way, but I'm kind of just working through some experimentation, sort of base building blocks for the project right now. So, with that being said, let's start moving forward. I'm going to pull up Twitch chat in my other monitor here because I always forget to keep an eye on it, and so I shall. So I've got Twitch open. Yeah, cool. Okay. Oh, I've got some tweets on Twitter where tweets happen. Loads of them. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's get going. So, first thing I'm going to do, which I usually do when I start the stream here, is... Whoa. Yeah, okay. We're gonna update Storybook because there is an update there. We tried to do it last week and kind of ran into some nonsense. Let's just make sure we've got no pending commits. You'll also notice if you are here with me week to week that I have changed my terminal slightly. I'm now, instead of using bash, using Z shell, whatever that's called, zish, as of the past 18 hours or so. That gives me some of this niceness in the whatever this is called, the prompt, which shows me which folder I'm in. It also shows me what branch I'm on and the status of Git, and then this thing indicates whether the last command was a success. So if I do ls, that'll work and it'll go away, but if it fails for some reason, yeah, then it'll bring that X back. Just as an FYI. I don't know if I'm going to end up keeping this. I also simplified my background here, which was a gradient previously, but some of our viewers were unhappy with that, so long live the gradient, but the gradient is dead. So let's start by upgrading some packages here. There should be lots of these. There's a bunch of Gatsby ones. We might start with those because that tends to be easier, but we can take a look at what the changes are here. I don't always do this, but this is a pretty big jump. So what I'm looking at is, it says I'm on Gatsby 2137, and this went to 236 since last I updated. So I'm going to go to the changelog here, and we're going to look at what has happened since 2137. Wow. Okay. 220, allow schema customization. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Cool. Fix third-party schemas. Just looking for things that might break. There's some Redux changes. This is great. Yeah, version bump. Okay. 230, add anonymous telemetry instrumentation to Gatsby. That's interesting. That's probably for usage reporting, I would imagine. Right? What is this? Oh yeah, performance stuff. Yeah, okay, that's great. Gatsby's free and awesome, and totally happy to have those things happen. What else is going on in here? Yeah, okay, great. We're going to update that, and I'd imagine all of these other updates are relatively minor. None of them are, they're all revisions, so that's usually like a bug fix or a documentation change or just a version bump due to other related things. And then there's been some changes to React, so we'll take a look at those next. So we're going to go to Facebook, React, releases, and oops, let's queue up a commit here, upgrade Gatsby deps. Whoa. I got a 503 from Twitch. Should make sure the stream is still running even. Let's see. I currently see 0 viewers. Which is weird. Usually it shows me as a viewer, but I don't even see myself. Let's see. Okay, now it's showing just me. Weird. Wonder if Twitch just went down for a second there. No matter. Let's let this thing get done with what it's doing. I'm going to close some tabs in the background because invariably I run out of RAM as we're doing this because I need to go and spend some money on a better, beastier laptop. Ideally when Apple updates their stuff this fall. That's just a guess. You heard it here first. We done yet? Nope. Slow as molasses. Okay, great. So that'll do that. I'm going to stage these guys, and I'm going to commit these guys. And you'll see, I just ran a couple of commands. You can see when I have unstaged changes, we see that dot. When I have stage changes, we see the plus, and when I have no pending changes, this prompt turns green. That's kind of neat. Still getting used to it. Don't know if I love it, but it's informative at least. So let's look at what's next. React changes 16.8.4 to 16.8.6. So 16.8.5 has some better warning goodness. Fix shallow renderers, that all sounds good. Incorrect bailout. Cool, lots of changes having to do with hooks. That's good, we're good with that. Update those. Update React depths. Lovely, we'll commit those. And next we will take a look at Storybook stuff. Funny that Storybook itself isn't in here. That seems odd. Let's look at what we have. Storybook React. I guess that is Storybook. Okay. 503, we're going to 506. Good with that. Upgrade Storybook depths. Okay. Commit those. And finally, Babel, sure. Update Babel depths. Apparently a lot of people say Babel. I'm not up with that. Babel has 2 B's and I'll fight you about it. I would sooner accept Babel. Okay. Stage, we'll commit, and we'll try and run the thing again. Story dev is a command that ooh, son of a, damn it. Not again. Okay, Storybook is not working. Yarn Storybook. What? Emotion core package. Man, this is literally exactly what we ran into last time. Let's see. All right, we're gonna search for it. Storybook. This is my problem. After deleting node modules in yarn lock and running yarn again. A test project with React 16.8.5 and Storybook React 5.05. Yeah. Just updated the recent React version and everything looks fine again. Here's the dependency tree. but we updated React. And 16.8.6, yes. Maybe this is a React script incompatibility. Well, let's just set React back 16.8.4. Okay, we're going to run yarn again, which will install those React packages to that version, right? It'll pin them to that version. And if that version has the fix we need, then this should do it. No, it didn't work. Okay, what's your problem? Let's try 16.8.3, everyone. My God. Okay. Well, what were we on before today is a good question. What did we have? 16.8.4 before. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to change this to 16.8.6. We're going to nuke our node modules folder. Which will take a second. It's a lot of files. We're going to remove yarn error, yarn.lock. We're going to run yarn again. And at some point we should get rid of this package lock because I use yarn and not npm. I don't know. Seems like a holy war there, but I've made my choice. It's perhaps uninformed, but I don't really care. I could be persuaded one way or the other, is really what I'm trying to say. This will take a while because we just deleted everything in node modules, so bear with me. Okay, now let's try Storybook again. Very confusingly, that did the trick. Seems to have done the trick. I don't know, it could still break. Was breaking Storybook. Looks like it worked. Let's reload. What do you know? It's working. No errors, no warnings. Sweet. Okay, so we will commit that. and then we can move on with everything. So I'm going to kill it and run both of them with our story dev command. Great. It is a little frustrating that Storybook opens a new tab every time it starts, but okay, I really should leave a comment in here. Yeah, I guess I will. Chiming that React at 16.8.6 does indeed seem to work for me, but I had to delete node modules and yarn dot. Yeah. Ta-da. Okay, now that this is all running, we've got our Storybook back, we've got our Gatsby back. We can move on with the other things. So all of our dependencies are now up to date, save for Bootstrap, which I haven't really made a decision on yet, and that's okay. We can and should probably start talking about some of the structure of this stuff that I was glazing over last week as we were working on this. So I started to make, not really a mistake, but I started to do something which I think is antithetical to the way that the site will be built from here on in. Is what I did is I started building the header directly inside of Gatsby, which is fine. That's great. Like while this is uncomplicated, that's an easy thing to do. But the idea moving forward will be to use the Storybook to develop all new components, sort of in a vacuum, get them working, and then incorporate them into the site. So let's look at how I did the header. So the header right now has 2 rows. It has a top row, which right now just contains my username, which is sort of parallel to what happens on Gymnasium right now, except that that should be slammed over to the right. And a bottom row, which contains a link to the site title, which really is a Gymnasium logo in the real world, etc., etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to implement both of these under a header story. So we're going to have a Storybook thing for the header, and under that we're going to have a primary, secondary, all the basically header breakouts will happen in the Storybook. So let's start by adding a story. So we do that in the Storybook directory. We go, oh no, actually that's not right. In the stories directory under source, we're going to add a folder called header. And then just like all these other ones, we're going to have a header.story.js. So index.story.js. It's difficult sometimes to both speak and do. I'm just going to copy one of the source from one of the other files, which we'll end up eviscerating and adding our own things in. We don't have any actions in here right now. We do have stories of, which we'll use. We're going to call this header. This is going to be header, and we're going to have black bar, gray bar, and then we're going to do complete header. And so we'll have to assemble all these things accordingly. So let's look at what's being exported in the components folder for header, if anything right now. Yes, we do have an export header from header. What is happening in here? This exports default as header from header, and that creates the complete thing. Okay, so a couple of choices we can make here. So I think really it's okay because these are like always tied at the hip, right? Our header really is traditionally has always been these two bars together, whether you're logged in or not. There's a third tier of header that happens when you are logged in and in the courseware that one day we'll need to incorporate here. Right, third tier of header-tude. And of course this needs to be one of those kind of comments, because adding comments is super confusing. So what I should do then is come up with names for the three headers we have. The gymnasium.com courses. I'll bring this up again just so I can show you from a logged in view. We have the top bar, the middle bar, and the third bar, and then kind of sometimes a fourth bar. And what we want to do is make each of these their own atomic components so that we can modify them independent of one another. And that's great. So I think that's the plan, is I'm going to make a story for each one of those so that they can all be edited separately, and then we can have a story for sort of smushing them together, or as many stories as we need, really. So we'll call, it's not great, but I'm going to call this the, yeah, I don't know. I could use some help with names here, I guess, but I'm going to go with primary, secondary, and tertiary. No, that's not great. We'll call it the login header, primary nav, and secondary nav. And now that I've done that, by logging myself out, it's complicated everything. Okay, so we're going to have three headers. We're going to have primary, or what did I just call it? Primary nav.js. We're going to have user header.js, and they will kind of happen in that order. So we're just going to make some simple React components. I'm going to create It gets a little bit confusing here, but these primary nav and user header will use the header row to create what they export, and the header will kind of aggregate these things together. So let's start with the user header. So we're going to do import React from React. We're going to do const user header equals this, and we'll rename this guy because consistency matters. Okay. We're going to import header row from here. I think we've exported it. No, we have not. That's okay. We're going to do it from here. And we're going to import user header dot classes from user header dot module dot css. So I can already see that this folder is going to get super messy. So we are going to break this out into subfolders pretty much immediately. Yep, I'm good with that. So we're going to do user header, and we're going to put this in here. Move that here. It will also have top row classes, which we're going to rename to user header dot module dot css. Yes, please. I've just broken something without a doubt. Okay. Okay. We're going to go into what was header and essentially just spit out this guy. There we go. Great. We're going to change this to be a user header, and then this will eventually be the secondary header, but we also then need to import user header. So This guy needs an index. Great. Okay, that'll do that. Then we'll export it from here. We'll render one here. We'll get back to this stuff. Yeah, actually, do one of those. Import user header from there. So that'll go into the story. And we'll see if we've broken this thing. Cannot resolve user header.module.css in Gym frontend components header user header. Okay. Why not? Did I misspell something? Ah. Cool. Okay. We, of course, need to add that story to the base stories. Which will add a header here. Huh. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Ah. Check the render method of header. Header. We broke something. Okay, that's a start. So let's go into this story and make sure we're rendering the right thing. We can do that in here. Yeah, they're somewhat similar. That's cool. Because right now this is just really that bar with a line under it. Maybe, maybe not. But let's take a look at what's going on in here. So let's see what I have missed. Ooh, we got a big scary warning there. I see there's still a console log in here, so we're going to get rid of that because we no longer need that. Let's commit that change just while I'm thinking of it. Remove console log. Great. We're going to add header story. Well, we can't do that yet. Let's get this thing working and then we'll commit it. One little thing at a time. So we have container fluid undefined. Look at that. So my modules are coming in as nerfing. Let's get out of the footer. Do that. We'll do that. That should give me a nice debugger so I can check out what classes are coming in as. Okay, let's see what's going on in that file. Oh, I should zoom in for you. I'm sorry about that. Huh. Okay. let's just for giggles here. There's some funkiness with how modules work. Message arrived at manager. Huh. Okay, so oh boy. I think what we're seeing is, damn, this is that same ass CSS modules problem. Yeah, because if I refresh this, we'll still have a black header there. Damn, damn, damn. Okay, so let me show you what's going on here. If I save that, this should still work. And that now works. Okay, so we have fixed one half of the CSS modules problem. The other half of the CSS modules problem is Storybook. So when I say we fixed one half, is we contributed to a pull request a few weeks back that got gave us exposed an option for how post CSS worked to compile CSS modules to a camelcase JavaScript variable. That is not currently happening in Storybook, and I thought it was. So let's look up Storybook post CSS camelcase. Okay, let's give this a shot. That's an interesting comment. So let's go to webpackconfig.js. Oh boy. I forgot we have this whole stupid mess. So there are two different ways to do a webpack config. File should export a function. In older versions of Storybook, you're able to export an object, but this behavior is deprecated and will be removed. Okay, good. So we still have a function. There's no more extend mode. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that. Great. Okay, this is much more readable than this freaking mess here. So we're gonna do default module.rules.push, and then an object, and then we can put this object in here. Right, because we're pushing a rule, yes? And then all we need to do is push that guy. Great. object. Okay, and camelcase true. Let's look at how we did it for Gatsby. Gatsby plugin post CSS, CSS loader options, camelcase true. Hopefully that does it. Doesn't look like it. Actually, we might need to restart it. So let's do one of those. Okay, path is not defined. Great. Path is not defined. Ah, I need an import there. Okay, we gotta look up how mother of post CSS loader works. This loader cannot be used with CSS modules out of the box due to the way CSS loader processes file imports. To make them work properly, either add CSS import loaders option or use post CSS modules instead of CSS loader. What? Boy, I gotta tell you, that was not a super helpful link. Okay. Either add CSS loaders, import loaders option, but we're not using. Okay. Well. Loader for Webpack to process CSS with post CSS. Yeah. We're just gonna try this one. That's unknown word. Unknown word. Okay. I still don't see where the camelcase bit comes in, but you can use it standalone or in conjunction with CSS Loader. Use it after CSS Loader and Style Loader, but before other preprocessors if you use any. Okay, use Style Loader, post CSS Loader, so that's what we're doing. Style Loader, CSS Loader, post CSS Loader. But what was the error we were getting here? Damn. Okay. I may need this. Because this was working. So let's replace just that with... Actually, all of these might need that config. Okay, so I'm going to replace this with that. We don't need the array. We don't need the array. Just that. Oops, oops, oops. Opening. Well, let's start there, because we knew that this post CSS loader seemed to be working fine. We need to feed this is the important bit here, and this, the modules, sure. That's okay. Let's try this first. No, sir. Okay. Let's provide some context to these other guys. I'm just going to blank out style loader for now. We're going to add a config here. And we'll try it again. Okay. Cool. That didn't work. I'm just gonna keep commenting things out. We'll see. We'll get it back to a working state one way or the other. This all is very confusing. Problems of the new world. Did not work. Okay. See if just my post CSS bit works. Did not. Okay. So let's see if we can really parse what's happening here. So at one point we had this working, and that was essentially when I grabbed this. This has test CSS use, and we created an array, and it had just the post CSS loader with source maps on, and a config, which is essentially what I've got there now. And of course we had to import path up here. All right, let's go back to there. So we're going to copy this. We're going to go inside of that rules, push, and we're just going to get it back to where it, literally just where it wasn't complaining earlier. Oh God, what have I done? I copied too much. We want that much. Wait, no, that's not true. I want the whole rule, but I want to delete all of this nonsense. Okay. Great. I think this was working before. No, of course not. No post CSS config found in. Oh. Okay. Set post CSS config.js config path and context. So apparently there's a config thing here. Yeah, okay. This is what I'm missing right now. All right. So I'm not super convinced I need this. We can add it back in if we need to. This should now run again, but I don't think it will have fixed anything for us yet. I'm actually beginning to suspect that the answer is not post CSS, but just CSS loader. And that would be accomplished similar to what's going on in here. Broken build. What's the problem? No post CSS config found in. Okay, got it. So we're going to get rid of the post CSS stuff because it doesn't seem like any of this config stuff is helpful for us. Ordering. Yeah, okay. We don't want post CSS here. We want just normal CSS loader. And actually, we're going to do that. Yep. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. What's it saying? Error in module build failed unknown word exports. Okay, we're going to get a little more robust, perhaps. So I'm not entirely sure. Like, I'm struggling to see what. Okay, post CSS, got it. Provides auto prefixer, some of the nested stuff. Style loader before CSS loader might help. Right, that's what we got here before. I guess there's several ways to do this syntax, but we'll stay consistent. Loader style loader, that doesn't generally need any. We might add auto prefixer anyway. Let's see what style loader does, because I'm not really sure. Style loader, add CSS to the DOM by injecting a style tag. Okay. Well, what the hell, man? Okay. So here's what I'm thinking might be going on, is that Gatsby is benefiting from Create React Apps Webpack config, which is super complicated, but we might be able to pull the useful bits out of it. Gah. Okay. So we want to look for test CSS. Nope, in here. Oh my god, this is complicated. Just a reminder that the Create React app peeps have done really good work. This is crazy. Very succinct and well-written code, but really crazy. The simple bits. Yeah, man. Okay. Maybe someone else has solved this problem. It seems like what I might need to do here is open an issue again. And I guess we can do that. Let's see their contribution guidelines. Issues. No software is bug-free. So if you have an issue, follow these steps. Search the issue for current and old issues. If none of that is helping, create an issue with the following information. Clear title. Shorter is better. Describe the issue in clear language. Share error logs, screenshots, and send us a sample repo with the issue you faced. Cool. We can use all this public goodness here. All right. Let's create an issue. Do I need to test it against master? No, hopefully not. Run unit tests. I'm not actually submitting a pull request here. I'm just creating a... All right, let's go for it. Ooh, that's cool. I think this might be a feature request, so we'll start there. Cool. Okay, what are we going to call this? Set CSS modules aren't, let's see, add ability to configure to change camelcase option for CSS modules. Okay, is your feature request related to a problem? Please describe. Hi there. I'm building a Storybook and Gatsby front end for the Gymnasium.com. Hoi. where our goal is to use Storybook to prototype new UI enhancements, which will get promoted into a Gatsby front end once they're tested and ready for production. I'm currently running into a configuration issue with Storybook and CSS modules. So let's do what was the configuration we used for Gatsby? So CSS loader, camelcase. Okay, we're gonna link to this. It seems that by default, what I would like is to be able to use camelcase style names for CSS modules, CSS classes imported via CSS module. That seems to be accomplished using, or that configuration option looks like it lives within CSS loader within the Webpack CSS loader. Dashes and class names will be camelized. The original class name will be removed from locals. By default, it seems that Storybook's CSS module config only produces class names that are hyphen separated. For our team would prefer, our team is just me in this case, our team would prefer to use camelcase here, which means setting the to either true or only. I've been digging through docs on how to correctly update, let's say extend the Webpack config for Storybook. To both use CSS modules and provide that camelcase option, but I haven't been able to get it right yet. I'm under the impression that, so this should go here. This is the solution that I would like. Let's see. I'm under the impression that what I need to do is something like not that, not that, not that. Where was it? There we go. This, oops, okay, this, but, I think I also need to modify the CSS loader. Could use some help there. Describe alternatives you considered. An alternative for us would be to use only skewer case names. However, for the sake of code legibility, we'd prefer to have is class names like as opposed to okay, so let's see if that makes sense so far. Yeah, I think that's a fair description. Are you able to assist bring the feature to reality? Yes, I think I can, but I'm not sure where to start with. In order to find the base config to use for CSS modules and CSS loader that Storybook uses by default. Any other context or screenshots about the feature request here? This is, yeah, okay, let's show off what we got here. So, all right, how are we going to do this? So we're going to make a, not sketch, we want sketch. Sketch, we're going to make a, actually we want both. Okay, we're going to make a screenshot that shows off both of these things. So I'm going to grab this. I'll show it from Storybook. Really just the first column is good enough. And I'm going to grab it in Gatsby. Just show the little Gatsby it's not running anymore. Yarn. That'll run Gatsby. All this stuff takes time, man. Okay, so for the sake of cleanliness, I'm going to get rid of some of this nonsense here. We'll grab a screenshot showing the guy's toes from Gatsby and paste it into Sketch at apparently drastically different resolutions. We can work with that. So we'll put in some text. Gatsby. Great. That should be maybe not a weird teal and maybe not a weird font and maybe not a crazy size. Put that here. We'll line these bad boys up, and then we will grab a screenshot, move into Sketch, which is what I use to generate helpful arrows. We'll point to this space here. I should really bring those up to roughly the same size. Yeah, great. Okay. So they're not perfectly aligned, but let's not focus on that. Okay. So paste, discard this note. We'll drop in a pointer to show that. Gap changes. Oops. And we're going to write a little text. Put these arrows into a useful pointing place. Great. This gap changes is missing in Storybook. Okay, that's a helpful image. Hopefully we can add that to our issue. So so this problem came to my attention because I've been developing our new React components side by side in Storybook and Gatsby. Obviously, the goal is for them to be rendered exactly the same in both. Because we rely on camelcase CSS class names from within defined by a hyphenated class name. How about, because we rely on camelcase CSS class names from within our JavaScript code, any classes defined by a hyphenated class name in CSS do not work in Storybook. This is a side-by-side shot of our footer component running the same code in Gatsby and Storybook. And I pasted the wrong image. Oop. Okay. If I print the CSS class names being generated by this CSS modules in both Gatsby and, how about if I Storybook, all right, this is one big, long, silly issue, but we are contributing to open sorcery. Let's print those things. So we're going to comment this out. It's not helping. We're going to run storydev. And then we're going to go back into the footer. And we're going to console.log those bad boys. And once this runs, I'll grab a screenshot of both, and we'll show the problem. And actually, I should grab the Gatsby issue that we contributed to a while back. Ugh. Okay. Okay, and we'll link to that in here. Or let's say I commented about this. Should also add that I commented about this in a recent PR on the Gatsby repo. In the screenshot there, you can see that the problem I've highlighted above is still present. Okay, now let's grab those two outputs. We'll do them as images. I'm good with that. And here. What is... Oh, yeah, okay. That's great. Perfect exemplification of what I'm talking about. Generates both hyphenated and camel case names. And Storybook only does the former. Okay. My God, this is a long involved issue, but wink, please. Okay. All right. I hope that's enough information to be clear about what I'm going for here. If I can clarify, whatever. Great. Okay, we're done. We're going to submit this stupid thing, and I think that's going to be it for the stream for the day. Let me just reread this thing one more time. Hi there, I'm building a Storybook in Gatsby frontend for the Gymnasium.com. Our goal is to use Storybook to prototype new UI enhancements which will get promoted into a Gatsby frontend once they're tested and ready for production. I'm currently running into a configuration issue with Storybook and CSS modules. What I would like is to be able to use camelcase style names for CSS classes imported via CSS module. I should say in JavaScript. What I would like is to be able to use camelcase to reference in our JavaScript code to reference style names for CSS classes imported via CSS module. The configuration option looks like it lives within the Webpack CSS loader. By default, it seems that Storybook's CSS module config only produces class names that are hyphen separated. Our team would prefer to use camelcase here, which means setting the camelcase option to either true or only, from what I can tell. I've been digging through the docs on how to correctly extend the Webpack config for Storybook. We should link to that. And it's not extend, it's customize the Webpack config. both use CSS modules and provide the camelcase option, but I haven't been able to get it right yet. I'm under the impression that what I need is to do something like this, but I think I also need to modify. I could use some help here. Yeah, okay. Describe alternatives you considered. An alternative for us would be to only use skewer case CSS class names. However, for the sake of code legibility, we'd prefer to use class names like that as opposed to that. Are you able to assist bringing the feature to reality? Yes, I think I can, but I'm not sure where to start. Great. The problem came to my attention because we've been developing our new React components side by side in Storybook and Gatsby. Obviously, the goal is for them to be rendered exactly the same in both environments. Because we rely on camelcase CSS class names from within our JavaScript code, any classes defined by a hyphenated class name in CSS do not work in Storybook. This is a side-by-side shot of our footer component running the same code in Gatsby and Storybook. If I console.log the CSS class names being generated by the CSS module in both Gatsby and Storybook, I see the following. You can see that the Gatsby generates both hyphenated and camelcase class names, and Storybook only does the former. I should also add that I commented about this in a recent PR in the Gatsby repo. In the screenshot there, you can see the problem I've highlighted above is still present. I hope that's enough information to be clear about what I'm going for here. I should say thank you. And I should include a link to our repo. Let's see. Okay, we're going to grab let's see. If you'd like to reproduce this issue, you can pull down our repo for the combined Gatsby and reproducing. You can pull down, run yarn install or npm install. Run yarn storydev, which will start both Storybook and Gatsby together. You can inspect classes. Some are missing in the Storybook version of the footer. Nope, that's great. Okay, good. We're going to submit this. Okay, that's all done. You can go and upvote that if you happen to be watching this. We will keep our eyes on this as the week progresses. That is a super detailed issue. I hope it doesn't get crapped on, but we'll find out. Yeah, with that being said, my voice is ruined, but this was fun. This is what it's like to work on open source software sometimes. And hopefully this will make Storybook better for me and maybe one other person. Anyway, if you liked this, you can always subscribe to me on Twitch at Irreverent Mike. I'm on Twitter at Irreverent Mike. You can take any of our courses on Gymnasium 24/7 for free. They are video-based, self-paced goodness. And I will be back in 2 weeks with another live stream, and hopefully by then this problem will be long behind us. Y'all have a good afternoon. I will catch you later.